Hello, we are the Geeks and Degenerates, and today we'll complete our Middle-earth saga with a new beginning with The Hobbit, an unexpected journey. With me as always
Well,
is John, and yeah, hi.
I sorry. Well, I gotta say, it was more of like the beginning of the beginning. Like by books, Hobbit went first before the Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is odd that we're taking this whole Star Wars
Yeah.
esque themed way of telling a story, where we start out with the third half, or sorry, the last half, and then you end with the first half. It's very odd.
Yeah. I mean, there's no other direction to go to unless you want to take extreme licenses like Aragon after the fact. But, like, I get why. Because, the first trilogy made a lot of money, and did you know that they asked Guillermo del Toro to be the director at first? It was supposed to be one movie.
Well, I could see a little bit of influence from, what was the name of that, Goblin King. I
Yeah,
could see
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
being a design of a Guillermo del Toro style.
Yeah, but he dropped out. I didn't really research why, but like they asked Peter Jackson to come back, and in between Lord of the Rings, he had done King Kong, 2005's King Kong, which was alright for me at least. It was alright, visually stunning, but like the plot, you're like, I'm bored.
There was dinosaurs.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I said in our Fellowship of the Ring video that I didn't start with the original trilogy. I started with this one. Well, my first introduction was Lego Lord of the Rings because I was just bored. I was like, you know what? Maybe this would be a cool introduction. And then I just got super lost. Like, why is he white when he was
Yeah.
gray? Huh?
Nah, I do remember that, I think Lord of the Rings was my first
Hmm.
introduction to Middle Earth, but I could never finish it until
Yeah,
I was in
same
my
here.
teens.
This was
Like,
one where I was dragged into, well, not really dragged, but like, since mom is such a big Middle Earth fan, she's like, come on, we have to watch this together. Like, all right, I'll try it out.
yeah, same here. My mom's also a big fan for it. She was like, "All right, I got the trilogy in one disc." I was like, "Let's go." Yeah, both of our moms were cool.
Yeah, and unfortunately for this movie, it's not as rated high as Fellowship. It's like 60, where Fellowship's like what 90. Um,
Yeah,
but honestly, at first I liked it. Now I'm like, there are problems, but like it's not as mediocre. I've heard some people say it is.
yeah. A lot of people have griped with it because the bar was set so high with Peter Jackson's first Middle
Yeah,
Earth story with Lord of the Rings. So everybody's kind of like, we want the Lord of the Rings 2, the
yeah,
trilogy,
yeah, yeah.
Like, so they wanted another one, but it's a completely different story. I would say they did kind of lack in some
Yeah, they're
parts.
slacking somewhere.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, like for a while before I watched the original trilogy, this was these sets of films were like my favorite. And then I thought about it for a while. I was like, no, they're the first one is good, but the other two are like questionable at best.
first one was actually a really good introduction. This is forgivable.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I can see this. It's like Force Awakening.
yeah, yeah,
Awakening.
yeah.
Uh,
You mean Force Awakens?
Force Awakens. I would high five you there, but I fucked up. Uh,
uh,
yeah, it's like that where you're like, that is actually a pretty decent start, and then as you go on, it's a little bit
yeah,
it starts to plummet. I will say this one is way better than the sequel trilogy, in my opinion.
in some
I
ways.
enjoyed this trilogy more than that.
I enjoyed the last entry of this one more than the sequel, episode 9. I'll say that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, let's get into the plot and like we start with Bilbo, Ian Holm, the late great Ian Holm, telling the story of Dale, which was a place of commerce, very well, very rich because it was aligned with the kingdom of Erebor and King Thror, whose son is Thrain, whose grandson is Thorin Oakenshield, and then we find out why his last name is Oakenshield for a bit. But yeah, everything seems alright. Everything's going really well. And then they find the Arkenstone. And everybody's like, ooh, that's pretty.
Yeah, like it's meant to signify that you are king. Like this is a straight up message telling everybody, hey, I am top dog.
Yeah.
Even the elves were like, ah, fuck, they got that thing. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know. They didn't explain why this stone was like, up. Now you're like above all races, and
Yeah.
there are a lot of plot points. I don't know if I didn't read
Same.
the Hobbit books or what was the name again? Silmarillion or something like that.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, like, it's an interesting start. Like, you get to see more of the past of Middle Earth, and especially with the dwarves. You're like, oh, they used to be very prosperous back in the day.
Yeah, I mean they were supposed to be like they had gold, they had everything.
Yeah.
To a point where their trade would like leach into this town filled with just menfolk, and the point where yes, the elves do visit
Yeah.
because they are that great. And sad to say, a little lizard came in out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
It began with Thor's greed, and then he couldn't focus on other stuff, and then Smaug's like, wow, that's pretty. I'll take the shitty.
Benedict Cumberbatch just came in like, damn,
Yeah.
is that for me?
And I like how you don't see Smaug all that much at first. You just see fire, and you're like, that's bad.
You see a silhouette of a blurred image of a flying thing.
Yeah.
You see the tail end of it like whiz by. You see the destruction. Poor
And you-
people being burnt alive.
And like you see how powerful he is just by his wings. You're like, damn, that's a category 5 hurricane.
Yeah. I kind of like it that if a dragon is to appear of any story or media,
Yeah.
they are living, breathing nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
I like that concept where this thing is probably impossible to kill.
Yeah.
And I love that. And this is what Smaug felt like at the beginning.
Yeah. And then Bilbo tells us that the dwarves had no city to go. They had nowhere to run to. They became scattered across Middle Earth, taking odd jobs. But Thorin never forgave, nor did he ever forget. And he was on a quest to retake Erebor. And fate would have it, Bilbo would be part of the story.
Yeah. Also, a key thing, he does not like a lot of races.
No.
I would say Thorin is a little bit of a racist.
Well, with the dwarves, you can't blame him because he's like, help us, and they're just like, nah, we won't
You
take
mean
our
with the
dragon.
elves?
Yeah,
You mean with the elves?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get that part. And then with the orcs, I also get that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone else are like, damn, Thorin, chill.
Thorin the racist.
Yeah. But yeah, you see, again, Elijah Wood reprising his role for a bit because this present time, they're setting up for Bilbo's birthday, which was in the Fellowship.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you
And,
writing? He's like, get away from me, you little shit. It's not yet done.
And they kind of knew. I was like, I'm gonna be watching this movie, so they like refrained from showing Bilbo all that much. So that's
Yeah.
good, because he's
Yeah.
useless.
Bilbo, you mean Frodo?
Frodo.
You have problems with both Bagginses, sir?
Yeah, no. I like Bilbo.
Okay. And then we cut to the past where Bilbo meets Gandalf, and they're not at all acquainted. It's like, good morning. Do you wish me to have a good morning? Or whether I like it or not, it is a good morning. He's like, I don't know, man.
I guess all of the above.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that where when Gandalf just meets you, he just comes out with riddling questions, and I'm like, man, can you shut up? I love that part of his character. I love that part.
Same here, and this is my first introduction to Ian McKellen as Gandalf when I've known him as Magneto for so long. So I was like, no wonder everybody loves him as Gandalf. But yeah, he asked Bilbo.
And the man since what 2001 hasn't aged a day.
Yeah,
I mean, he kind of just stayed at like the ripe age of 70 for like God knows how many decades.
yeah. But he asked Bilbo to if you want to go on an adventure, and he's like, "No, thank you. I don't wanna. We Baggins
No.
don't do that here."
And without his consent, he leaves a mark on his door,
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, he's actually G."
Yeah. And his house is pretty much crashed by all the dwarves. It starts with what's his name? Grant McTavish?
Man, I don't know all the dwarves' names.
No, that's the actor's
All I
name.
know is just that 16 dwarves just came in bursting,
But yeah,
eating
the
all his
first
food.
one is the guy who voiced Dracula, and it's Lazarovich. Yeah,
I'm looking that up. What the fuck?
yeah. And then all of them come through and they eat all this food, and they're just being, in Bilbo's defense, they're being the worst kind of guests. You're like, I didn't agree for you to have any of those foods, especially my cheese and rare wine, you fucking assholes.
Yeah, for us, slightly introverted people, we don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
But it brings charm. You see how they work. They all kind of have their own personality, but work like a hive mind.
Yeah.
Where, this goes in like really well with the fight scenes, with how they work. I like how dwarves fight, in my opinion, more than elves. Because sure, there's uniformity in elves fighting, or how they work. But with dwarves, it's just automatic. Like, they toss a plate, the guy already knows to catch it and toss it into this room where they're gonna clean it. I love that chemistry between all of them.
Yeah. Though
It's a very odd
my gripe,
characteristic.
our main complaint is that not a lot of them get any
Screen
character.
time?
Yeah, character development at least. Like,
Yeah.
I can just describe Thorin and maybe Feely and Killy, and that's about it. I don't know. Well, Balin too, the guy with the white beard. Like, he's the wisest of the all, and Thorin's the
Right.
leader.
Yeah.
But after Feely and Killy, I'm like, who are the rest? I know one of them is Gimli's father.
Hmm.
Uh,
And actually, yeah, I didn't even notice that was Gimli's dad.
yeah, until like the
until-
second film.
Yeah, where he says like, "Oh, my son, my son."
That's
you
my
know.
wee lad, Gimli.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of the devil, Thorin is the last one to arrive, and Gandalf's like, "We found our master burglar," and Bilbo's like, "No, I'm not. I'm master what?"
Where? They all look at him.
Gave him a contract. He's like, "Sign this. You want to join us?" And he's like, "Oh, there's in case of death, mutilation, or incineration." They're like, "Yeah." Sheer amounts of pain, and then you feel nothing after a dragon breathes fire on you. He's like, okay.
How about no?
Yeah.
No, but I do love who plays Thorin, Richard Armitage.
Yeah, the best
This-
voice for Wolverine.
Yeah, like if you guys haven't seen it yet, we'll probably leave a link down in the description. You
Well,
guys
you can't
should
really
watch
see it. He can only listen to it.
You can only listen to it.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to it on Spotify, they do have like this Wolverine what?
Series.
series
Yeah.
on Spotify, and it is amazing. It's voiced by Thorin Oakenshield.
Yeah. And then Gandalf's like, "What's the matter with you, Bilbo? You used to love adventure, and now you're just like, no, I don't want any part of this."
Yeah, and the entire night, Gandalf's just pretty much trying to convince Bilbo to just join them. Seeing the amount of pain that Thorin has because, like, hey, we lost our home a long time ago.
Yeah.
We need as much help as we can.
Yeah.
And you can tell that Bilbo's kind of like, all right, I'll think about it. But they had to go.
Yeah.
They're kind of in a rush. They don't really have much time.
Yeah. Gandalf does give Thorin the key to the back door too, which Thror gave Gandalf, I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like, before they lost the...
No,
the
I think
mountain.
after, but like he's just like, just in case we get a chance.
Ah,
Let's
okay,
see,
got
let's
you.
Keep this. Yeah. But like Bilbo is like, when else can I take an adventure? Because Gandalf's like, yeah, it's a once in a lifetime thing, and he's like, can you guarantee that I'll come back in one piece? He's like, no.
No.
But you have a lot of tales to tell. He's like, all right.
Yeah.
We get the meaning of, I'm going on an adventure, and he joins them, but like he's so prim and proper. It's like, wait, my hanky, we had to turn back, and Gandalf's like, we ain't doing that. Fuck her hanky.
Yeah, like the fact that they're like already miles ahead. They're like, wait, we gotta turn.
Yeah.
Forgot my panyo. Sorry.
And then that night, you hear the tale of why Thorin is their leader, their king, their rightful king.
Hmm.
Cause
And they just show like not just dwarves were trying to retake or take the mountain back. There were also orcs.
yeah,
Or
no,
orcs.
that wasn't Erebor. That was Moira. They remember
Moira.
Yeah,
Right.
the Fellowship where game's like, it's populated by dwarves, and everybody's dead. It's like, oh no.
Alright.
Yeah,
But yeah, they try to retake some of the dwarven kingdoms back. But some armies kind of beat them to the punch.
yeah. This one is led by Azord the Defiler, and if you somewhat recognize his voice, he's played by Manu Bennett, who is Slade Wilson in the Arrow series.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like,
Is that not Joe
really?
Manganiello?
Oh.
He's pretty good as Slade. Like, if Seb was here, he would vouch for him too.
I don't know. I saw some like scenes with him. Like he's great.
Yeah.
Show isn't.
Yeah. But yeah. He vows to wipe out the line of Durin, and he starts with Tror. He just beheads him, and Thorin solos him. And like at one point his shield is knocked out, and he uses a oaken shield, an oak as a shield.
Yeah.
And he amputates Azord, and he's like, he can never survive his wounds. It's just an amputation. You're like, are you sure, Thorin?
Yeah, like the man bled out somewhere in the forest. I got it. And it was a sweet scene because you see him telling this story and everybody else is listening.
Yeah.
And they all kind of stand up and just see like, this might be our last chance
Yeah.
to get our home back. And they're all looking up to like Thorin, which was a very powerful scene.
Yeah.
And Bilbo being our eyes into this like journey, we're kind of like, wow.
Yeah.
The amount of responsibility that this man has on his shoulders is too great for even me to comprehend.
Yeah. And then we cut to somewhere deep in the forest where we meet Radagast the Brown, who's like, everybody's dying. Why?
And even the hedgehog was like, Sebastian, now!
Yeah. He tries to cure it, but when he's trying to cure it with his spell, or yeah, mixture of stuff, like giant spiders are crawling. You're like, oh god, I hope I never seen them anywhere else in Middle Earth. Boy, was I wrong.
I mean, at the start of the second movie.
But he's like,
yeah.
that's weird. Why are there giant spiders? Aren't there like further up somewhere else?
Yeah, he's like, oh, this can't be witchcraft.
Yeah.
Wait
Goes
a minute.
to Dol Guldur, and he encounters the Witch King of Angmar, which without his armor. It's not Nazgul yet, but he gets his blade, and he's like, I need to find someone about this.
Yep. And I do like it that there are other wizards of
Yeah.
variety of color. Like there's 2 blues, 1 white, 1 brown, 1 gray. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. And like there's one who's above all of them, who's not sold himself to madness just yet.
Not yet. Not
Yeah.
yet.
But yeah, the next day, like, as they're marching, I forgot what causes Gandalf to split from Thorin, because Thorin's just like, no, he's like, I will never ask help from the elves.
Yeah, because that was their thing. Like the map is in Elvish.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, in Old Dwarven, and Gandalf knows that. Fuck, what's his name? Hugo Weaving.
Elrond.
Sorry.
Elrond.
Yeah, Elrond can read it,
Yeah.
and they just need his help.
Yeah.
But of course, being the racist that he is, he's like, nah, I don't want it. And you know, Gandalf was like, ah, well, fuck you, and for being childish,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a walk.
Yeah. And then Bilbo's on pony watching duty, or no, it's feeding
No, he-
Gilly, and then they're like,
Yeah.
Bilbo, some of them are missing. We don't know why. And you discover why, and it's trolls, and I am kind of mixed on the trolls. You're like, that's a lot of CGI.
Yeah, if Guillermo del Toro had like hand in this, it would have been more of a prosthetic
Yeah.
and like practical effect. I would say I'm a mixed bag with this part. I'm like, okay, it does tie in back into like Lord of the Rings. You do see the trolls
Yeah.
that were like frozen 60 years before this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a cool Easter egg that we saw. But at the same time, like, this is weird filler.
Yeah. Going back to CGI for a bit, and Ian McKellen, like, there's the movie where he broke down crying because he wasn't used to working with a green screen always, and he wasn't even filming with the actors because he was just on the table and the actors' pictures would be in the table and they would just light up. So he'd be like, "Oh, he's speaking now. I should react to that." But like, he prefers, I'm here, you're here, and we're all bouncing off each other.
Yeah, but it is kind of hard. The fact that they're trying to tell a story in a certain way that really requires them to use CG.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't, it'll be really hard, I guess.
Yeah.
But I get where Mr. Ian McKellen's coming from.
Yeah. Going back to trolls, like they're about to kill poor Bilbo, or like they discovered that Bilbo's just bullshitting them, and then the rest of the dwarves come, and then they have to stop because they're like about to rack poor Bilbo. They're like, all right, we'll stop fighting.
Yeah.
And you see that Bilbo really has to be the brains because he's like, wait, they have germs, and feel your kid. He's like, I don't have germs, you have germs, and Thorn's like, shut up.
And like, yeah, Gandalf comes in last minute with a clutch.
Yeah.
Exposing the sunlight, turning them into stone. And for some reason, Thorn's a bit of an ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, oh, it's your fault that the horses got lost. I was like, what? No, it's Keely and Feely. They're the one in charge.
Right.
Yeah, and the fact that he was the one who, what do you call it, stalled the trolls from cooking them.
Yeah.
For like the sunlight to come in. Yeah, that's Bilbo's plan. So why are you giving him shit? As
Right.
Gandalf said. I am paraphrasing.
And then they discover where the trolls come from, which is this Elvis cave. Elvish cave with like gear and
Just a guitar.
Thank you very much. No.
Pompadour wig is right there.
That's weird. They find weapons, and that's where Bilbo gets Sting, which he passes down later to Frodo.
Yeah, and it's pretty much like, oh shit, there's gold, there's swords. A pretty good haul. I don't know where it came from though.
Like the dwarves bearing their gold, and Dracula dwarf is like, what the hell are you doing? They're like, we're making a long-term investment. He's like, oh, fuck it. All right.
You mean was this deposit? Long-term deposit.
Deposit, yeah. I mean, kind of an investment. You're like, I hope it's still there.
No, it is because when Bilbo and Frodo were talking, they were talking about this chest of gold that they found in a troll cave, and it still smells like troll, and like his family wants it.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they come out the other side, and that's where all of them meet Radagast. He's like, we have trouble because there's an orc pack, and we're also bigger trouble because there is spooky stuff happening, which should not be happening. And here's the sword that you can give us evidence for your case, kind of, because you're always like, the enemy's coming back. Well, here's your chance. And as the orcs come closer, he's like, I'll be the distraction, I'll run. He's like, you'll never outrun them. These are rabbits, but these are rabbits from so-and-so. I really don't know how to call them.
Man, you know the screenplay word for word. There you go.
Right?
But anyway, Radagast the Brown pretty much makes a diversion while the dwarves book it to like
they're going wherever Gandalf's leaving them. And you're like, I wonder if Gandalf's just me like, oh look, it's Rivendell.
Wow, what were the odds?
Yeah.
And I know a guy who could read all dwarven language.
But yeah, at some point they stick their heads for too long, and the wargs are like, oh look, we found the dwarves.
Boy, stick their heads. They were murdering somebody, and they were like,
all right, sorry.
the orcs are just like, what happened to Bobby?
Like, why didn't he cover his mouth? I guess orcs can bite too, because so they're like, we don't want to take the chance. He might be infected with something.
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just pretty much shanking Pondo style. This one orc and the others kind of hear it,
Yeah.
and that's when they get exposed. They get surrounded, and Gandalf was like, "Oh shit! I remember that rock.
Yeah.
There's a secret passageway towards this elven town that I don't know about."
Right. But yeah, the elves come in clutch and save them, and Gandalf's like, "Oh look, where does this lead to? Rivendell."
What were the odds? Thorin's just like, "You son of a bitch."
And yeah, as I said before, it was my first exposure to Middle Earth. Back then, I did see Lord of the Rings in passing, but like I never paid attention to the cast. So when Elrond shows up, I'm like, Hugo Weaving's in this? The fuck?
Yeah. No, I think I remember my cousin having a figure of Elrond
Yeah.
on his shelf somewhere. So
Yeah.
that's how I know that's how I know Elrond from.
I do wish I had the moment of like, oh shit, he's back, not y'all got Hugo Weaving?
Ah, damn, their budget went high.
Yeah. Thorin begrudgingly is like, fine, let them read the map. And then
Yeah,
they do.
They're sorry. But Hugo Weaving's not an asshole here.
Yeah.
You can tell there's an amount of respect towards Thorin, because I guess he kind of sympathizes with him.
Yeah.
But the entire time he's just helping, like, "Oh, I could read this for you," but they never tell him what they're doing. Well, like what they're doing, right? Like his business is not our business.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, our business is not his business. I mean.
Yeah. But Gandalf is summoned by the other wizard, and again, first exposure, I'm like, God damn, they got Kate Blanchett and Christopher Lee. But I do like how Gandalf's bonding with Galadriel, and then I was like, oh, by the way, Saruman's here, and he's just like, right.
I love it how it's like, is that Dooku?
Yeah.
Fuck!
Yeah.
Where did he get here? Man,
Watching the movie the first
the
time.
fact that I watched Lord of the Rings before you did.
Yeah. First time watching this, the prequels, I'm just like blown away by the cast. Like, holy shit, that's Kate Blanchett and Christopher Lee. What the fuck have I been missing?
Like you didn't know Christopher Lee was doing Count Dooku and
Saruman.
Saruman at the same time.
Like, first time watching this movie, it totally skipped my mind. It was a prequel. So I'm just like, wow, god damn. But yeah.
Oh, he's in every prequel.
And then Gandalf's trying to convince them, and Saruman's like, you're always talking about the enemies coming back. We already vanquished the enemy years ago. Calm down. He's like, but Radagast the Brown is like, I don't trust Radagast the Brown. He's like, I know you think his methods are unconventional. He's like, no, he consumes too much mushrooms.
You know what? Saruman kind of has a point.
Yeah.
The junkie down the street told me that. Like, well, when that happens, like, you kind of have your doubts. But Galadriel does say, like, you have something to show us. Why don't you just show it? And they do. They show the sword, which has like necromancer magic on it.
Morgul blade from the witching of Angmar. They're like, that's weird. He was buried with it.
Yeah, I love how you're just like, I'm like, this sword that they found. You're like, complete fucking name. I'm like, all right. But show me up like that, man. You're doing me dirty.
I'm sorry, but yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Hey.
Gandalf is ultimately there to just stall because Galadriel's like, oh, the dwarves left. And he's like, yeah, I know. It's like, oh, okay. And then they go to this mountain face and there's a thunderstorm, but it turns out to be a thunder battle.
I don't know what that means, but yeah, giant rock people are fighting each other.
Yeah.
I queued in the Pacific Rim theme when this was happening. It was cool.
Yeah. But like, at one moment after they clash, Bilbo's hanging by the cliffside and Thorin tries to save him, but he ends up having to dangle for his life. Like, goddamn, if he dies, this whole quest is over.
Right. I think they could do it. They got Gandalf.
And he's being kind of a dick to Bilbo because they're like, I thought we lost our burglars. Like, Thorne's like he's been lost ever since he left home. He doesn't belong with us. You're like, he's just doing his best, man.
Yeah, I get it. Sorry, I don't get it. Like, why is Thorne suddenly becoming an asshole from here to there? I'm like, dude, just calm down. He's trying to help you get your home back. Fuck.
Yeah. And then at that night, Bell was like, yeah, I don't belong here. And one of the dwarves was like, no, you do. He's like, do I though?
Yeah.
Before he can really leave, his sword Sting starts to glow, and Gandalf told him like, oh, if orcs or goblins are nearby, that means Sting glows.
Yeah. It doesn't have its name yet, right? Like,
Not yet.
They were showing like, oh, this is the Goblin Fever. Oh, this is the something.
Yeah. Gets its name
And-
second movie.
Yeah, it gets its name when it's been through battle,
Yeah.
which I like. I really do.
Yeah. But yeah, they fall through to the Goblin Kingdom, I guess, and then they're taken to the Goblin King, but not Bilbo because he manages to dodge them, but fights one goblin, and they all both end up falling through the into the bottoms of the pit. You're like, I was like, I guess that's it. That's it for Bilbo.
Yeah. No, but then we see, oh, a reoccurring character. It's Gollum.
Yeah. Oh wait, cutting back a bit, like surprise, you find out that Azog isn't dead, and he's like, I have a price on Thorne's head, and tell whoever that I'm willing to pay for Thorne. But yeah, surprise, at the bottom is Gollum, played by Andy Serkis, and for a guy first exposed to Gollum, I'm like, what the fuck is that thing?
Right?
Yeah.
And it is really freaky because we see Gollum in the old films eating raw fish, eating disgusting things.
Yeah.
But we never considered, like, does he eat people? He says he eats people. Or, like, humanoid things.
Yeah.
And now he's actually eating one, which is one of the goblins that fell with Bilbo. I was like, this is actually legit creepy.
But
I
as
like this scene.
as he's cracking the head of the goblin, the one ring to rule them all falls out of his pocket or his cloth.
His G-string? I don't know.
I don't know. And Bilbo picks it up, and then he, as he meets Gollum, he's like, "Can you help me?" He's like, "There's a tester, there's a scrumptious." Like, please don't help me.
By the way, this is like halfway in the movie. There's
Yeah.
so much shit going on already. I was like, oh god, we're near the end, right? And I see that I'm like, oh my god.
And Bilbo's like, fine. He's trying to stop him, and he finds out that Gollum likes games. He's like, alright, we'll do a game of riddles. And then, like, if I win, you help me out, and what happens when you win? Well, if Baggins wins, if Gollum wins, we eat it whole.
Do you really have to do the voice?
Or eat it whole. And he's like, sure.
Fair enough.
Back on top, they find the Goblin King, and he's like, oh, I know a orc that will pay a pretty price for your head. King under the mountain. Wait, you're not a king. Nor do you have a mountain. You're nothing. Like, oh, thanks, Dick.
Fine. Alright, cool.
Yeah.
What? Who's the actor for that Goblin King?
I'm not sure. At first, I thought it was Stephen Fry, but it's not.
Right? I also thought it was Stephen Fry.
Yeah.
Played by Barry Humphries?
I have no idea who that is.
I also don't know who you are. But yeah, you did a really good job.
Yeah. Back at the bottom, they engage in game of riddles, and Gollum is winning. Oh, well, it's more of a tie.
Yeah, they're tying. They were answering each other's riddles.
Yeah.
And by the way, first time watching this, I got them all right.
Nice.
Except for the egg. I didn't get that one.
Texas. You're like, first time seeing this Gollum, like, does he always speak like that? And then later on, like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And like, oh, the dual personality, is that really a thing? Yeah, it is.
You know what's bullshit though? Andy Serkis was never nominated for an Oscar because his characters don't count because they're all CGI. Or that's Gollum,
that's
or
stupid.
Yeah, or Caesar. Just yeah, stupid.
What? So if a guy can act and mimic a thing that's not technically human, that doesn't count, really. The fact that they
I
have
guess if
to
it's
act
CGI.
something that they're not used. I
Yeah.
know, but the fact that they have to act with like that whole dotted thing
Yeah.
with a CGI suit, that does not count.
Yeah, I think that's the same reason why Benedict Cumberbatch wasn't even mentioned for Smaug.
That's stupid. The
And if-
Academy's dumb.
And if you've seen videos of both Andy Serkis and Benedict Cumberbatch doing their thing, you're like, God damn.
Do you see any like any other actor willing to do this? Really?
Yeah, right?
Or able to pull it off?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
But yeah, Bilbo does a cheat sheet. He's like, what's in my pocket? And he's like, that's not fair.
I could see that
Gollum's
Gollum's
getting to me.
taking over you.
And he's like, 3 guesses. It's like, is that bat wings? Is it hair? No.
No, string! And like,
String or nothing. 2 guesses, both wrong. He's like,
and he has this whole moment where like, what is in his pocket? And he like reaches for his ring. It's not there. And this was an intense scene.
yeah, he's just like, oh.
It's like, what is in his pocket?
What is in
No.
your pocket?
I'm like, just say lint. Just say lint. Please. Maybe
But-
he's too stupid to like, see.
But Gollum realizes it. He's like, he stole it! And he just chucks a rock at him.
Yeah. And now we see like, oh shit, Gollum did have the ring for a good amount of time until he lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then back on top, like they're about to torture the dwarves, and the goblin cleaver falls out, and they're just like scared shitless because they're like, oh, goblin cleaver, fuck, we're goblins.
Well, props to the Great Goblin. That's what he was called in the IMDb page.
Okay.
He knows his shit.
Yeah.
Like he knew the names, he knew what they'd done. I'm like, at least he's knowledgeable.
Right?
Good for you.
And then Gandalf comes in and saves them, and he's like, run, you fools.
I like every time Gandalf has a command like run or
Yeah.
flee or hide. I love Ian McKellen's voice when it like shouts.
Run!
Yeah, it really sticks to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a man with power right there.
And Thorin picks up the goblin cleaver, and the a great goblin, is that his name?
Yeah, Great Goblin.
Tries to hit him, but he like buries it, and he just sends him flying. You're like, does that sword have magic?
It's elvish steel, I guess.
Right.
Why does Sting glow?
And this is a pretty cool action scene. When they're using their environment too.
Sting glows because it's a racist rock. I would like to think that.
Oh man.
But yeah, as I said before with like the dinner scene, as they fight, there is flow, there is connection. They're individuals. They have their own personalities. But when they fight, it's like a hive mind. When one tosses a hammer back to another person, he knows it's his.
Yeah.
And when they like use that ladder to push off the other golems, and then they make a bridge out of it.
He said golems.
Sorry, goblins, and they make a bridge out of it. Again, that is such a good transition. I like that
Yeah.
when they go from one fight scene to another with a very smooth connection, very choreographed.
Yeah.
This isn't like the old, Lord of the Rings films where
Yeah.
it's very gritty. Everybody's in the mud. It's very realistic. Here, it's like a dance, and I
Yeah.
love it.
And then they're stopped by the Goblin King. He's like, you think this would be so easy, wizard? What are you gonna do? And he just pokes the eye, disembowels him, just slits his throat. You're like,
It's like
damn.
Baldo.
Yeah. And they all fall, and then they're crushed by the Goblin, Great Goblin. I don't know how he doesn't kill them with his weight.
Dwarves are, for some reason, very sturdy.
Right?
I don't know how Gandalf's like living through this. The man's like 300,
Right?
and he's not like my knees.
Right? But yeah, they all run, and they cross Gollum's path, and he's like, oh no, more people. And then Bilbo is about to kill him, but he remembers like Gandalf's words when he says, "Courage is not knowing when to take a life; it's knowing when to spare one."
And he sees like the tear falling into Gollum's eyes, where he does have a bit of sympathy, but not that kind of stupid sympathy from Lord of the Rings with Frodo.
He does kick him though.
Yeah, see, I would kick Gollum too. I won't trade in the best man who ever lived in Middle Earth, Samwise Gamgee, over this thing.
And then Gollum's like, "We hate it forever."
We hate him forever. And he does recognize the Bilbo, like the Baggins' name,
Yeah,
like in Lord of the Rings.
yeah.
So that's a good connection.
But that's Andy Serkis' only time in the Hobbit trilogy, which is fine.
Yeah, it's a good
That makes sense.
cameo.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
very prolonged, intense scene. Like, for me, Gollum was the first ever serial killer that I ever been introduced to.
Yeah.
And seeing this scene, it kind of rekindled it because like they're playing a game, or else he dies. It was a cool itty bitty cameo from Andy Serkis.
Yeah. And then Gandalf's like, "Where's Bilbo?" And Thorin's like, "He left. He's back in his home." And Bilbo shows up like, "Hi, you dick."
Hey, asshole!
Yeah. It's like,
I'm
why
right here.
why did you come back? Like, well, I have a home, but I realize I know you guys don't have one, and I want to help you.
Oh, bitch! Fuck you!
Yeah,
And
I
he
want to help
leaves.
you. Yeah, I'm out anyway. Like, oh, okay.
I got a home, bitch.
But they're spotted by Azorg and his pack of orcs, and Thorin's like, out of the frying pan, and Gandalf's like, into the fire. I do like that scene.
Yeah. And like they climb up the trees, the fucking wolf things are like coming at them.
Yeah.
They did do a redesign on them, right? Like in
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, they look way different.
Yeah, it looked too clean for me, to be honest.
Yeah, I prefer Lord of the Rings one.
Yeah.
These ones look like dogs, while the other ones kind of look like
What the fuck is that?
herpes with teeth.
Yeah, like, is that supposed to be a saber-toothed dog? What the hell is that thing?
It's just a mixture of every animal, and it does not look good.
Yeah. But Thorin realizes that they're all clinging for their lives, and he decides to take on Azorg by himself while he has this big war. Like, I don't think you're thinking straight, sir.
Yeah, I do like it that he kept the Oaken Shield. I don't know where that came from.
Right?
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Right? Like, we're just keeping that? It's just, are you a GTA character just pull things out of your ass?
We do that a lot, though. Like, at some point, there's a scene where they're running away, they don't have their stuff, and then the next scene, they have their stuff.
Right?
So, I guess it is kind of like, oh, my inventory in this
Oh, yeah.
infinite bag
Yeah.
of stuff.
They have the inventory wheel from our Red Dead 2 and GTA 5. Like, ah,
Yeah.
I wish I could
Where
see
do you
that.
keep your 60 dynamite?
But yeah, Thorin is badly losing this fight because at one point the warg is chewing on him. We're like, how are you not bleeding? Alright, armor, but still, that's still broken bones.
Yeah. And... I'm trying to remember this scene. Oh, yeah, Bilbo comes in clutch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That shit was sick, though. Like, him tackling the Uruk-hai, and... They count as Uruk-hai, right?
I'm not sure. I think they're just orcs. They're not the hyped up ones with Saruman yet.
Okay.
I think they only
And
come in Fellowship. Yeah.
Yeah, and Bilbo pretty much just prison shanks this poor orc, and like, nice.
Yeah. Thankfully, the rest of the dwarves follow, and Gandalf does the old Eagle Ex Machina, and they're saved. And
Yeah. This is the alt of Gandalf is just the eagles.
yeah. And then they're saved, but you're like, oh no, is Thorin dead? Nope. He's alive, and he's like, he turns to Bilbo, like, you. I thought you were a coward, and you were just the most useless part of this party. I've never been so wrong in my life. You're like, goddamn right.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
He ain't no Frodo. Fuck.
Off in the distance, they see Erebor, like, oh, the birds are coming back. It's a sign that there's our one chance.
Yeah. And you gotta love how Bilbo is like staring into the mountain. They see the mountain.
Yeah.
that is the goal. And he's like, the worst part's behind us. And it cuts to Smog. Smog, I'm like, I guess.
Yeah. You just see the eye, like, I can't wait to see what the actual full-size dragon is like. And to be fair, it exceeded my expectation. Like, Jesus Christ, this thing's huge.
I loved Smog.
Yeah.
Though he is underused in the second movie.
Yeah. He has
Yeah.
like, what, 30 minutes of screen time?
Yeah, like the whole time they're just trying to get into the mountain.
Yeah, for
And
something
there's
called
whole...
the Desolation
Well-
of Smog.
Yeah, it's just Thor going crazy because of the stupid rock. And I'm like, this is plot points that I think
Oh
might
no,
be in
you're
the book.
thinking about the last movie with the rock making him go crazy. Because the second movie is them, trying to get into the mountain, and that's where they meet Legolas again. Well, we meet Legolas again.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is the barrel scene.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
But-
fun. There was like a Beyblade scene there. But anyway.
Yeah, and that's when Gandalf goes on his weird side quest.
But yeah, they do have like some scenes that are supposed to be in the Silmarillion book that they really condensed and angered a lot of fans.
Really now. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
research and see what those are. When we
Yeah, the scene was Gandalf like doing a side quest.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that's part of that book.
Okay. But yeah, what would you rate The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey?
I would say The Hobbit: The Unexpected Journey has to be an 8 for me. It has this Jurassic Park syndrome where there was magic, there was this beauty in the first few movies where we're trying to learn this world. This is our first time being exposed to a world like this. And we're seeing the cultures, we're seeing the different species, the different races, and how they are, and the magic within this world. We know the rules, we know the places, we know the characters already when we go into the Hobbit. So from my perspective, this is why it kind of goes so low compared to Lord of the Rings, because the magic's gone.
Yeah.
We've been exposed to the magic, and now we're like, we know the trick.
Yeah.
And it doesn't amaze us the second time.
Yeah.
It's still a good
unfortunately.
movie. It's a fun movie. It's a good, well-directed movie. Does it step up to its like older brother, with us giving it a 10 out of 10? I don't think so.
Yeah. I'll give this a 7. Back in the day, I would have given this maybe a 9 or 8. But now, I'm like, yeah, I agree. The magic is not as present as it was before, and the characters could use some more development. But unfortunately, they never really do going through this trilogy. Like, until the last movie, like, I don't know who you are. I just know one of you is Gimli's father. The rest of you can, if Azor killed all of you, I wouldn't even be like, oh no. I'm like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did all of the Middle-earth movies for this week at least, in preparation and celebration for the release of The Rings of Power, which I have seen episode 1 of, and yeah, House of the Dragon's
no.
pretty good.
How dare you!
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's just the first episode, so I don't know. But
Okay,
unfortunately for me,
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So who knows? I might agree with.
yeah, unfortunately for me, first episode of Rings of Power is pretty end all, but that's my honest opinion. For now, we'll talk about more of it once the series is complete and we talk about season 1 as a whole.
I can't wait. I really can't wait. We'll also do a review on House of Dragons season 1, I guess.
Yeah, it's already renewed
Yeah.
for season 2, and rumor says Elizabeth Olsen's joining season 2, and Henry Cavill. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, but yeah, that's been a video on The Hobbit. What do you guys think? The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. I can't just generalize it like that.
Yeah.
But if you want to see more of us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. If you want to see us react to trailers, which has been a minute because there's not a lot of hot trailers out now, but there will be once D23 rolls around, so stay tuned for that. React to trailers, stream video games, and stream about our lives at facebook.com/geeksanddegenerates. If you want to hear us on the road, we have a Spotify podcast of the same name. And a TikTok, if you want to see us relive some of our greatest moments, we just uploaded Hazel's why some people like some movies even though they're trash to other people's, and Sam and our collaboration with Miss Lucifer, aka Sam, on Uncharted. So check those out.
Yeah.
Individually, you can find me at Yandalphus995 on IG and Twitter. How about you?
Oh, you can find me at JomGOM on Instagram. Underscore, by the way, at the end. On
You've been
Instagram.
saying it wrong this whole time?
Seriously, dude. I've been sending people like my link, and I keep forgetting the underscore, and it goes to a completely different person. So I'm like,
I better check the link then.
so GEOM underscore on Instagram. It is my art account.
Alright. But yeah, for our Middle Earth week, that's all the time we have. We'll see you on our next, team week. Bye, everybody.
Huh?